Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we got some big news here. I just received in the mail my 2020 registration. I received this envelope, which I haven't opened yet. Let's see what we got. Valid California title for 1953 Chevy pickup. Wait a minute. I just sat down to edit a video and realized I had never really given any paperwork history on the 5-window here. Let's start with a little bit of backstory. I bought this truck from my uncle, and his family were the original owners. They bought it new in 1953. He got the truck when he was in high school and did some work to it. When he got married and started a family, he needed a family car, so he parked the truck. It sat there for about 35 or so years, and that's where my first video picks up. Well, when I bought the truck, he had some of the paperwork, but he didn't have the title. After I got the truck, I went to DMV with a form for replacement of lost title, as well as a statement of facts showing that I was the new owner. Well, I almost instantly hit a roadblock and needed more paperwork, typical. So I grabbed the forms that I needed and went home and returned a few weeks later with them all filled out. I handed them over to the lady, and guess what? It turns out I needed more forms. So I asked her, what are all the forms that I could possibly need for this transaction? I got a stack of forms. I left again, got everything filled out, and returned again just recently. I also went to my local affiliate office, which is an office that's authorized by DMV to handle all the menial paperwork. And I got a moving permit for my truck. And I went in with the truck and my new big stack of paperwork. Once I was called up to the front, I started with my application for replacement of lost title. And I told her, as soon as you need your next form, just tell me and I'll hand it to you. Well, every time she needed a new form, I had it. I had it filled out and I handed it to her. So anyway, we kept working through the paperwork, and finally we got to the point where she said, okay, now what we're going to have to do is a verification on the vehicle. And I said, well, it just so happens it's out in the parking lot. I'll pull it around. So I pulled it out into the covered area, and the lady came out and she did the VIN verification on it. We had to pull the license plates off. They had to photocopy them. And by the time we were done, we had a nice fat stack of paperwork. And she said, okay, we're going to submit this now to Sacramento with your fee. And we'll either get a letter of denial back in a few weeks, or you'll get a bunch of the forms that you applied for. Title, your new registration, and the release of ownership of the black and yellow plates. That's another thing I wanted to do, was retain the original 6-digit black and yellow plates. So, sure enough, a couple weeks go by, and I get all my envelopes in the mail. That brings us to present time. Now I've got my pertinent information. I was approved for everything across the board. The truck is officially mine. It retained its original license plates. And it's currently back into the DMV system. No back fees owed. So now the truck is licensed, insured, and 100% road legal, and about 70% reliable. I think the plan is to just drive it, cruise around town, etc., and finish the 1947 Ford. Once the 1947 Ford has been kind of buttoned up and rolled out of the shop and is back on the road again, I would like to tackle a few things on this 53. I don't know to what extent it needs to be gone through. It's a pretty solid starting point. It's a great base to begin with, which is very fortunate. But there are some definite conditions that need to be addressed. Things that can make it more operator friendly. She still has a bit of a tendency to run a little hot. I could maybe upgrade the electric fan. I would like to address the transmission. Right now it's just got a 4-speed in it. It's geared pretty low, I'd like to make it a little bit more freeway friendly. The motor does have some oil leaks that I would like to address, clean up the engine bay a little bit. I would like to swap out the rear axle also. It's just a one tire fire type of deal right now. I would like to put in something a little bit more substantial, but I would like to address the leaf springs and the straight front axle, as well as possibly upgrade to some power steering. I do have a bit of a thing for vehicles on air ride, so I don't know, that's definitely not out of the equation. Alright, let's get these new stickers on these plates. The old stickers stood about a 1/4 inch off of this plate. I had to get a razor blade and peel them off. Kind of starting fresh here. Look, these are original black and yellow 6-digit plates. Just in the last few years, DMV started offering these as an upgrade to modern vehicles. If you pay X amount of dollars per year, you can have the new black and yellows with 7 digits, as opposed to the more common white and blue license plates. But what makes these cool is they're only 6-digit, and they're the old original black and yellows. They're not the repops that I had to pay an extra fee for. And believe it or not, the California DMV actually considers these their own entity, separate than the vehicle. So when I bought this vehicle, I needed a release of liability for the original set of license plates as well as for the new vehicle. Oh well, like I said earlier, good old state of California DMV. Just keep on trucking.